One of my favorite meals to cook in the fall and the winter is a pot roast. This won't necessarily be a full recipe, but you could follow your heart. First, I like to start with a really good chuck roast, some small potatoes, whatever you like. I also like to add shallots, a white onion, a little bit of salt and pepper to season, which you'll do to taste. Instead of beef broth, I use vegetable broth. You'll need some bay leaves. I got this herb mix, but you only need thyme and rosemary, and I'm cooking it in a rice cooker. Chop that onion up, chop that shallot up. For the meat, you're going to want to start searing both sides. You'll also need some garlic, which I chopped up. You'll need some carrots and celery, but I like to use baby carrots because it's easier. Chop those up to a reasonable size. Now you're going to want to take the garlic, shallot, and the onion and kind of saute it, just so it's brown and aromatic. I'm using this rice cooker, but you can easily cook in here as well. While they kind of turn brown and golden, you're going to want to stir them just so they don't get burnt or anything. Now you're going to take a cup of the broth. I'm using vegetable, like I said, but you could use beef broth. You're going to take a cup of that and place it into the cooker. Here I am pouring with one hand, shockingly again. But shockingly, I'm not making a mess. Then you're going to want to pour that cup into there as well. Now you're going to want to give this a couple stirs just so it gets hot and the vegetables can soak up the broth. To substitute the beef taste, I use this beef concentrate that came from a meal kit. Squeeze that on in there and give it a stir, making sure that's fully mixed in really well. And then it's going to kind of start boiling. And once it's boiling, you're going to want to start adding your carrots and your celery in. And here's what that looks like so far. Next, after washing your potatoes, you're going to want to start adding those into the bottom of the pot. I kind of place them in a circular motion and then filling that in. And these are miniature potatoes, red and yellow, but use whatever you like. I personally like using the miniature potatoes because they're easier to cook through, so you don't have to wait as long. Once you're done with all the potatoes, you're going to want to start adding your herbs like the rosemary and the thyme. Here comes the best part. You're going to take the roast and then add it to the pot. You could probably also do this before you add the potatoes, but I just put the potatoes at the bottom. After I added the meat, you can kind of start seeing how I added the potatoes on top just to kind of give it some weight. Apparently I got impatient and just added them by hand. And here's what we're looking like. Place the lid back on, and about midway through you're going to want to add the bay leaves. Just on top, as many as you like. And after a couple hours, like 3 hours, 2 hours, you'll just keep looking at it. It'll look like this. I took the potatoes out just to make sure they were cooked completely, and then re-add some more herbs. And once I was done, I plated it, and here's what my pot roast looked like.